Okay guys, Rick here. So in this video we're going to be doing an update on Lucid Motors. So I've got some really interesting research that I've done, and I want to do a follow-up on the previous video. So if you guys enjoyed this content, please subscribe to my channel for more future videos. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at a year-to-date chart of Lucid Group stock, ticker symbol LCID. It is up 84%. If you guys watched my previous video, you see how I talked about the rumor of the PIF acquiring the remaining stake in the company. The PIF owns just over 60 to 62% of the common stock, and it looks like they're trying to take this company private. Now, obviously, they're trying to take Lucid private because they believe it's worth a lot of money in the future, and they want to control basically the #1 luxury EV company in the world as of right now. But check this out, what I've uncovered. So remember I talked about how we could have another short squeeze moving into February and potentially into March. So I want to show you guys something very, very interesting that I uncovered on doing some research on these charts. So right now, this is the year-to-date chart, so very strong movement. Let's head over to the 1-year chart, okay? So we're going to head over to the 1-year chart. Okay, so I hope you guys can see this. So this is a 1-year chart, and what I've done is normally I look at daily, but I wanted to show you guys the weekly charts. This is really, really interesting. So what is going on here? So if we start here, back in early Jan 2021, okay, this is when Lucid had its first big squeeze. Okay, this was obviously on the rumor news of CCIV. So for you guys that have been around LCID for a minute, you guys probably remember the CCIV days. So once CCIV, which was a SPAT, announced that they were going to merge with Lucid Motors, this was the first huge massive spike. So if you guys remember that, it was absolutely crazy. Okay, at the time, the stock was called CCIV. The stock went all the way as high as $63. Okay, this is during SPAT mania when all of these companies were just going bonkers. There were so many SPATs out there. The Trump SPAT went, I think DWAC went to like $170 at its peak. It was absolutely nuts. Okay, so that was the bubble back when the interest rates were low, during the pandemic, lockdowns and stuff like that. So that was the first squeeze. So as you take a look at the weekly chart, Lucid didn't just run for 1 week. It ran for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks until it tapped out and then had a big red candle going all the way down, okay? So that was the first pump. Then the second pump, okay? This was during the November 2021, like right around there when basically the NASDAQ and all of these EV stocks were at all-time highs. The market was through the roof. And then Elon Musk came out with the infamous Twitter poll asking if he could sell shares. And that, in my opinion, is kind of when the market tapped out. Okay, but as you can see here, that was a nice run up as well. So when the stock started running up, it was up a little bit, then it kind of fit. But we can take a look at that big candle. We're looking for those big candles because right here on the last week of January, we had a big candle, right? So we're looking at that big candle. So Lucid ran for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, okay? So 6 weeks. This one was a 6-week run up. This was a 4-week run up. Now, how will history repeat itself? Will Lucid run? Well, we take a look here, we can see that the RSI was ridiculous back here during the first pump, the CCIV days, and then the second pump, it tapped out at 80, so 180. Now, where will Lucid tap out? Well, according to historical trends, it looks like once that RSI has bottomed, it can really run. So I'm not exactly sure exactly where Lucid is going to tap out, but we can pretty much assume that based on historical evidence, once Lucid gets in the news and people really start paying attention to it, of course, as I mentioned in the previous video, Tesla had a phenomenal quarter. Obviously, that doesn't hurt. It looks like Lucid could run for a couple of weeks. So I also noticed that on Robinhood added a lot of calls at the $30, $32, $35 strike price, expiring on February 3rd. So that means there is some potential for Lucid to really, really run if it kind of follows historical patterns. And this might not be a multi-day runner. It could be a multi-week run because, as we know, most of these heavily shorted stocks have a lot of room to go higher. So now let's talk about the short interest. Very interesting. So we head over here to Twitter. Okay, so if we head over here to Twitter, we can see a tweet posted by, shout out to Financial Journey. Really like some of the content he's posting, especially his Twitter tweets. So he posted a short interest rate update for LCID. He said Friday shorts returned 454 shares and the cost to borrow is going up. So as we can see here, the live short interest according to Ortex is 25%. There are still 162 million shares short for LCID. So the shorts have not even been close to covering their shares. The short interest is 25%. That's still a massive short interest. To give you guys a comparison, Rivian's short interest is something like 9%. And I believe Tesla's is under 10% as well. So this is a massive, massive short interest. And this could really affect the stock if the shorts are forced to borrow. So now, going back to this weekly chart, I'm really thinking about, obviously I'm holding my long Lucid shares. It's the largest position in my portfolio, but I'm really thinking about adding some of those calls, okay? So I'm going to show you guys some of the strike prices that I'm potentially looking at because, hey, why not? You know, the markets have been sold off a ton. You can see this weekly RSI have been really beaten down. And, you know, if those rumors are true, there's going to be a lot of interest. A lot of people are starting to eye Lucid now thinking, well, if the PIF wants to take it private, how valuable is Lucid? Maybe, you know, I've overlooked the true intrinsic value of this company in the long run. So, you know, back here, we saw Lucid run for at least 4 weeks. Maybe it happens again. So we obviously, there's prior resistance. Obviously, if we take a look here, we had $62 and then around $55. But then we have the closest nearest resistance level is about $42. So could Lucid run to $42? So Lucid will be reporting earnings on February 22nd, guys. So you can see here February 22nd, 2023. So I believe, obviously this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do believe that there is a lot of risk. The risk reward is very good for potentially buying some Lucid call options far out of the money, expiring after the earnings call, assuming that the earnings call, the stock basically responds just like Tesla did, okay? So February 26th. So check out this. Robinhood has added a ton, okay, a ton of out-of-the-money calls for Lucid Motors, guys. Even just expiring on February 3rd, they added calls as high as $35. So are the options makers, are they preparing for a potential short squeeze? So what I'm going to be doing, guys, I'm going to be planning ahead for Lucid. I'm going to be adding some long-term options. Okay, I like these options expiring February 3rd because I do believe the stock could pump, but I also like these options after earnings. So I like these two strike dates, February 24th, so that's about 2 days after earnings, and then March 3rd. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to add some options on both strike dates just to be safe. So add some on the 24th, when 2 days after earnings, and then I'll probably add some on March 3rd as well. So I have no idea what the prices are going to be for these contracts because they're all new, okay? So the options makers are anticipating some massive volatility. So I'm going to be adding some of these contracts on Monday. Like I said, guys, not financial advice. This is just a nice opportunity I see of thinking a little bit far ahead, about a month ahead, and of course following the historical path of Lucid based on this weekly chart where we've seen in the past during the first two pumps, the stock ran for at least 4 weeks. So 4 weeks would be about just around the end of February. So I really like the risk reward of these two buying options on Robinhood, Fidelity, whatever platform you're using, on the strike prices of around February 24th and March 3rd at a potential, I believe the last resistance level is about, if we can see here, the last major resistance level was $42. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in these $35 calls. They're probably going to be pretty cheap. Okay, unless Lucid, pumps in pre-market, which I'm not really sure what will happen, but I'm guessing that there's going to be some pretty nice opportunity to pick up some of these call options at the $35 strike pretty cheap. You can probably stack up these options, see what happens. So that's all I got until next time, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you guys enjoyed my videos, please smash the subscribe button and hit the like if you enjoy this type of content. We'll see how high Lucid goes, but I'm going to be putting a potential top price of around $42 during this third short squeeze cycle, but we'll see what happens, guys. I'm going to be providing some more update videos because things happen so fast in the markets. Got to keep giving you guys updates. So that's all you got until next time, guys. Take care.